Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I am your host, Cristi. I'm coming to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum, who is 12, and Delaney, who is 9, and our cat, Lilu, who is sleeping very cutely right there. You can't see her, but just trust me, she's there and she's being very cute. And yeah, we are having a wonderfully chilly day in Colorado. Yesterday was our first snowfall of the season, and it was great. We woke up to a winter wonderland. I absolutely loved it. I am a little sad because we've been getting lots of fall colors, and the snow kind of covered up all the fall colors. But it is melting today. Today is in the upper 40s, lower 50s, so it is all just melting away, and we will have all the fall colors again. I will say that the snow did break a lot of tree limbs, which is sad. And Delaney's like, "Why, Mom? Why doesn't it break the tree limbs in the winter?" And I was trying to explain that the leaves help the trees hold more snow. The snow sticks more because of all the leaves, and they're not used to that. So I don't know if that's actually the reason, but it seemed like it made sense. Sometimes with kids, you just have to tell them the best that you can. Anyway, so I am looking out of my window, and it is beautiful outside. I got to wear my knitwear yesterday. I wore a KAL taking the kids to school. I completely failed in forgetting to defrost the car this morning. I did go early yesterday and de-snowed the car. It was obvious that there was going to be snow all over the car, but I forgot that even when there's not snow, there is ice. And so I went out to take the kids to school this morning and forgotten to go out a few minutes early to start the car and get it warmed up so it could defrost the windows. So we had to sit in the cold car for about 6 minutes before the windows started to defrost and I could see out of them. And Delaney complained about that. "Mom, it's so cold in here. Turn on the heater." The heater was on, but you have to wait for it to heat up. So anyway, so as I said, this is a knitting podcast. You can find me on Ravelry as Cristi-Lael and on Instagram as Cristi-Lael without the dash. We also have a Relatively Crafty Podcast group on Ravelry, where we have knit-alongs and giveaways and chatter and places to show off the things that you make and that you get and that you're excited about. So please come and check it out. We are having a knit-along right now, the Autumn Accoutrements KAL, which is going from September 22nd until December 21st, which is the entirety of autumn. And in the KAL, you're just basically to knit an accoutrement or an accessory. And for those of you who aren't as pretentious as me. So the idea is that you knit hats, scarves, shawls, cowls, balaclavas. I almost said baklava. That's a completely different thing. Gloves, mittens, arm warmers, leg warmers, boot toppers. Basically the only things that don't qualify are things like sweaters, garments, socks, because we just did a whole 3-month long sock KAL, and like blankets and stuff like that, stuff that wouldn't be considered a clothing accessory. So yeah, we've already got lots of FOs. The nice thing about accessories is that they tend to knit up pretty fast. You can knit a hat in a day without really straining yourself too much. So I expect that there's going to be lots and lots of entries, and I think that's awesome. Remember that you get a single entry for any item that is up to 399 yards, and you get 2 entries for any item that is 400 yards and more. So if you knit a shawl that is 425 yards, then make sure that you post 2 FO posts in the thread. They don't have to be, subsequent. They don't have to be in order. You can you can do one and then wait a day and do the other if you want to kind of mix up your entries. But just post 2 for that FO so that I know that you have 2 entries, and that will make it easier when I run the prize RNGs at the end. And speaking of prize RNGs, it has been 3 weeks, I think, since our summer solstice cal ended, and unfortunately I haven't heard from one of the winners. So I am going to go ahead and take that prize and make it a prize for the autumn accoutrements cal. So there is a you know what, actually this works out pretty well, because this is an autumn woodland creatures bag that my Aunt Kathy made. It's a drawstring bag, and then I also have this absolutely gorgeous sparkly skein from Barmaid Knits, who is a Colorado dyer, and this is in her Drunken Sock base, which has gold stellina in it, and it is the Earl Grey tea cocktail, and it is just beautiful. So I will put those in as prizes for the autumn accoutrements cal, and one of you lucky guys will win that then. I don't know if they're going to stay together as one prize. I might, we'll see. It depends on how many prizes I end up having. So far, these are the only prizes I've got for the cal, but you know, the cal's not going to end for another 2 months, so we're 2.5 months, so we're good. If you do want to donate a prize to the cal, please feel free to contact me on Ravelry. I'm always happy to accept prizes. And speaking of prizes, I have one to award today. For the past 2 weeks, I have been having a giveaway in the Ravelry group for this beautiful bag by the ladies at A Single Strand Studios, and I am very excited to be able to award the winner this morning. So, I did a random number generator of all the entries in the thread, of which there were 50, and the RNG pulled up number 44, which belongs to Wendy Ray. And Wendy is actually Coloradan. So Wendy, and actually, Wendy is Fat Girl Sewing, and she donated a bag to the Summer Solstice cal. So I think it is pretty apropos that she's won a bag, considering she's already donated a bag. So Wendy, will you please get in touch with me and give me your address so that I can get this shipped out to you. And I want to thank the ladies at A Single Strand Studios once again for their amazing generosity in donating this gorgeous bag as a prize for the cal, or for the podcast. What do I do? Sorry, I lost it. And don't forget, there is still yet another giveaway in the group, and that is for a skein of Carrie's yarn. This is in her lovely sock base, which is an 80-20 merino blend, and it is in the campfire colorway, which is just absolutely gorgeous. I will have this giveaway open for 1 more week. All you need to do to enter is be a member of the group on Ravelry, be a subscriber to the channel on YouTube, and go check out Carrie's shop and just put down your favorite thing that she's got in there right now. And I know that's asking a lot, because there's a lot of really gorgeous things that she has in there right now. There's 2 new colorways. Fire in the Sky is just killing me. And what is the other one? Something about stars. It goes with Fire in the Sky really well. Oh my goodness. Anyway, they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, this I will draw for the winner next week. All right, so I think that is all the administrative things that I need to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into the knitting. I always start with FOs, so today will be no different. And I only have 1 FO to show you, but it's a cute one. I forgot to button it. Hang on a second. This is the We Historic Cardigan by Kate Oates, which I am knitting as a gift for Nikki's baby. Nikki of the Woolly Elephant is due with her 2nd son in January, and so I knit a little sweater for the wee tot. And here it is. Look at it, isn't it adorable? So yeah, so this is the wee historic cardigan, and yeah, I just think it is really cute. There is a little dinosaur that you knit with intarsia down at the bottom, and that is really my favorite part of the entire sweater. I knit this out of Wonderland yarns in their March Hare base, which is the sport weight base, although this is really a very light sport weight, and the colorways were Caterpillar for the blue and Phantom Wise for the purple. And yeah, I just think it turned out really cute. I had some buttons in my stash, so I just put those in. They match the blue almost perfectly, and yeah, so this will be shipped out today. I am shipping out, well, maybe not today, probably tomorrow, but I am shipping out like 5 different international packages. I've got some prize winners for the Solstice cowl, and then I have 2 sweaters to send to 2 different babies in the UK. I have some socks to send to Canada. I think I've got something to send to New Zealand. They're going all, I got packages going all over the world. So I will get that into the mail to you shortly, Nikki, and I hope that it works. I hope that it fits the baby, and that you get lots of use out of it. And that's the only thing that I finished, but I do have a couple of hose, which are half-finished objects, by the way. I actually have, I almost have more hose than I have whips. Oh, these are tall. So I finished the first of Ron's socks. I just finished it this morning. This is the Regia Perfect, which is designed to knit 2 perfectly matching socks very easily. They start with one color, and you knit the ribbing until the color changes, and then you just knit stockinette until the stripes stop, and then it is supposed to have a short row heel, but I went with a heel flapping gusset instead, because I thought that I like the look of it for this kind of sock for some reason. Because the rest of the foot is I don't know. I don't really know why. I just felt like knitting a heel flapping gusset, so I knit a heel flapping gusset. And then I did the sock. Now these are of course bigger than my sock blockers, which ends right about there, but Ron has a size 10 men's shoe, so his feet are bigger than mine. Although I will say that I cast on 70 stitches, thinking that I was going to need to make the sock quite a bit bigger. I do 64 stitches for my own socks, and I did to about here, and had him try it on, and he said that it felt a little loose, so I went down to 68 stitches, because the reason I'd gone with 70 is because I kept waffling back and forth between doing 68 or 72 stitches, and I figured, well, I'll just split the difference and do 70. Since I do 1 by 1 rib instead of 2 by 2 rib, I don't need it to be divisible by 4, I just need it to be divisible by 2. So anyway, I went down to 68 stitches, and then when I did the gusset, I decreased down to 68 stitches, had him try it on, and he said that it still felt loose. So I decreased down to 64 stitches, and he said it felt perfect. So I may just end up doing his socks with like 64, maybe 66 stitches. I think I might do a couple extra stitches, like 66, if I'm not doing a heel flap. The heel flap gives a lot more space in here, which is where people normally complain about their socks being too tight, their hand knit socks. If you do a short row heel, you have no growth, but a heel flap and gusset gives lots of space right in this area. So anyway, it does help to know how how many stitches to generally use, and it does make me a little bit more keen on knitting him socks, knowing that that I only have to add, maybe to the very outside 4 stitches and not an extra 8. Because it's going to knit up faster. So anyway, this was actually quite fun to knit. I thought that the foot was going to get real boring because it's just dark brown, but I knit on it while we were watching TV. I have about 15-20 minutes that I sit in the car after I've taken one kid to school and I'm waiting for the bus to pick up the other one, and I knit that then, and it just kind of went pretty quickly. The yarn is not soft in any way, but it is a workhorse type yarn, and I know that these socks are going to last him for a long time. I had a pair of socks that are in my drawer that have always been a little bit big for me. I was trying out a new technique for a heel, and it didn't work out quite right. They were okay, but they were, they were just a little bit big, and so I had him try those on, and they fit him. They're like the slightest bit snug on him, but he wore them the other day. So now he has 3 pairs of hand knit socks, and this will be the 4th one. So I may have created a monster, and I may end up having to knit more socks for Ron. But you know what? At this point, I've got like 80 pairs of socks in my drawer, and that doesn't include the 10 or 9 that I have right here waiting for my box of socks for the end of the year. So the fact of the matter is, I have cast on 50 pairs of socks this year alone, and like 30 of them, 39 of them, I think, 35, something like that, are all for me. So if I keep going in that manner, I'm never going to be able to wear them all. The past years, I still knit a bunch of socks, not quite as many as this year. This year I've outdone myself. I think 35 to 40 pairs was my max before, but this year I've really knit a lot of socks. But most of them in the past were for commissions or for friends, and this year I really haven't taken very many commissions, and so yeah, I've knit like 4 pairs on commission of one type or another, and I've knit a couple of pairs for my mom. I knit a pair for my kid, and the rest have been for me. So it wouldn't be a bad idea if I started making some socks for Ron, although I will say that they won't be a bunch of Regia socks. I do have 3 skeins of Regia or Opal in my stash that I will use for socks for him, but if I'm going to start making more socks for him, then they're going to need to be in a higher quality yarn. I might get some good workhorse solids to use for heels and toes, but yeah, I'm going to have the pretty yarns to knit socks for him, because it's more fun to knit them when they're pretty. I have not cast on the second sock, but I did reskein the skein. If you didn't see them before, they come like this, in these balls, and you're supposed to pull from the center, and I did that for the first sock, but by that time half the skein is knit, really, because it's meant to make 2 socks, and so it was going to start collapsing on itself and becoming a mess. That is the downfall of using these, is that they become a mess when they get down to the last bits of them. So I reskeined it last night into a cake. Not reskeined it, I rewound it into a cake. And so it is all ready to cast on the second sock. And I will be doing that here pretty soon. Again, there is not a lot of push to get these done. I am kind of surprised that I had the first one done already. But these are not socks that I picked out for October. They don't qualify for any of the KALs that I'm knitting in October, so I need to kind of put the second sock on hold for a little bit while I knit those socks that I have to, because We're in the second week of October, and I still haven't finished a pair of socks yet. Well, I mean, a matching pair of socks. I have finished 2 socks. They just don't go together. They don't fit the same feet. And speaking of that second sock, I have my first Hippo for Halloween sock done. Let me get it on the blocker. I knit this one taller than I normally do, and I'm not entirely sure why I did that, but I did. Look at that. I think I did that because I was just having so much fun knitting these socks. But my socks don't normally come to the top of the blocker. I normally knit them about there, but that's okay. I have found that I really like it when I can fold the sock in half and the leg of the sock is as long as the foot of the sock. This one is slightly longer, but you know, that's okay. I think I was going for an even number for my stitch markers here on the side. Yeah. So anyway, this is out of Lolo Did It in the Hippo for Halloween colorway. I have loved a lot of the Hippo colorways. I have to say though that the Halloween one is my favorite. I love the colors that she put in this. It's just perfect. You know, greens and oranges and purples and gray, and yeah, I'm just absolutely in love with these socks. I paired them with a little Lolo I had in Blazing Sevens, which is a perfect complement to the orange speckles, and yeah, I absolutely love them. I have not woven in the ends, which is why I've got that, and there's, I don't know if you can see the heel stitches are loose right here because that's where the end is, and I just need to pull it tight and then weave it in, and yeah, and I have a little skeleton progress keeper from Knitty by Nature, which I think is just perfect for a Halloween sock, right? Yeah. So yeah, I have started the second sock, but I have only the smallest of toes right now. So I will be focusing on this sock until I get it done, because I still have my Desert Vista Dye Works sock and my Box of socks that I need to get finished before the end of the month. So that and my Hippo for Halloween socks are the 3 pairs that I need to get done, and I'm looking forward to having those taken care of. I still have to admit that I am not in sock mode. I am in other knit mode, mostly sweaters, but I am trying to make sure that I work on the socks when I have just some, like, I have, you know, a little bit of time, not a lot of time to really focus on anything, but a little bit of time, and so I'll knit a couple around to the sock, and I find that if I continue to do that, then the socks end, you know, they finish up quickly, you know. I am also working on the sweater for Delaney. I have not made much progress on this since I saw you guys last week. I had like an inch of ribbing done. Now I have 2 inches of ribbing and about an inch of stockinette. So not very much progress, but this is being knit on 10s. So US 10s. These are ChowGoo. These are my ChowGoo interchangeable set. And so US 10s with bulky yarn, it should knit up pretty quickly, actually. I have to go to like 12 inches on this before I can, before the body's ready to be joined to the sleeves, and then of course I have to knit the sleeves, but I expect that it'll actually go pretty quickly. And now that I've finished the baby sweater, I can focus on this, and I'm looking forward to getting it going. And now that we are really starting to have some proper cold weather, Delaney could really use this. This is the Calades pattern by Jen Joyce Design, and it is a bottom-up raglan plain stockinette sweater pullover, which is what I was looking for to make for both of my kids. I made Tatum the Flax, which you saw last week, which was bottom or top down, and this one is kind of the opposite, and it uses slightly bigger yarn. I am using Ella Ray Chunky Merino Superwash. Is that what it's called? LRA Chunky Merino Superwash. Exactly right. All right. In this royal blue and royal purple. She wants to have the sleeves blue and the body purple, and so I am planning on using some intarsia in the round techniques to make that happen. We'll see how successful I am. I have done intarsia before. Obviously, I just showed you a dinosaur with intarsia, or a sweater with an intarsia dinosaur on it. I have not done it like this though, so we'll see how it works. But I did watch a couple of YouTube videos, and it does look like it's actually fairly easy. You just use a wrap and turn around the back, and I think that I will be able to get through that without too much trouble. I obviously don't have to worry about it until I get to the point where I join everything. Right now everything's just in solid colors. I have one last project, and that is my second Lolo Did It project that needs to be done this month. She is doing the hippo for the holidays, and some months there are 2 holidays within the month, and so we had hippo for Halloween, and we also had hippo for Dia de los Muertos. And I decided I did not want to knit another pair of socks, so I looked for something to do. And I had told you guys that I was thinking about doing like a cowl, kind of like the 3-color cashmere cowl, but maybe something a little bit different. And I got a notification, and I am so sorry that I've forgotten who pointed me to this cowl. Somebody commented on last week's video, so please go and look. But they suggested the, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, it's Italian, the Scaldacolo Todi. Scaldacolo Todi, by Carla Positano, which is a cowl using different techniques, kind of like a sampler, which was exactly what I wanted. It was a free pattern, it looked cute, I decided to go ahead and use it. And I was going to knit it out of the hippo for Dia de los Muertos, and then a little Lolo in Lucky, which I had bought with the Dia de los Muertos, and then this troll hair, which I had actually gotten with the hippo for Halloween, but used the Blazing Sevens instead. And so it was going to be these 3 together. However, I decided, after I looked at the cowl pattern, that I wanted to add a couple more colors, and I just happened to have leftover little Lolos from previous socks. So I had some of this. This is Elba Island, I believe, which I used for my hippo for Easter socks, and I had about 10 grams left of that. And then this one, I believe, is called Ow! I Feel Good, and I use this with my hippo for Cinco socks, I believe. So I am using these 4 little Lolos to go with the cowl, and I am just a little over halfway done. So here is what I have, and guys, I am loving this so much. It's not blocked, so it looks a little bit small, but it's going to be perfect. I didn't want anything that was going to be huge around my neck. I wanted it to be kind of not form-fitting, but you know, one where you kind of put it on and it just kind of just accordions right here to keep your neck warm. So as you can see, I started with the Lucky for the ribbing, and then I striped it with the hippo for Dia de los Muertos. And it's interesting because I got some pooling for that striping thing, and then when I went into this basket weave section, I got some nice mottled, you know, where it all mixed up. And then I did these garter stripes, which I used the Elba Island and the Dia de los Muertos for, and now I am doing a cabled rib with the troll hair, and then I will do some more stripes, and then a section that is that is called Little Holes Alternating, which I will do in the Muertos, and then I will end with some more ribbing. And what I am planning on doing is I'm going to end with ribbing in the Blazing Sevens. I'm hoping I'll have enough left over from the socks, which means I have to finish the socks before I finish this cowl, and I will use that to finish it off, and I think it's just going to be great. There's so much color in it. I absolutely love it. I'm super excited to be able to wear it. I think it's just going to be perfect. I love Lolo Didit's colors. Lauren is just a fantastic dyer. And that is all of my whips. So I guess it's time to go into my yarn haul. I don't have nearly as much as I had last week, which is a good thing, but I do have some cute things to show you. So first I have the September edition of the Rainbow of the Month colorway from Knitterly Things. I've been a member of her Rainbow of the Month club all year long, and it has been the best club I've ever been in. This month was called Autumnal Equinox, and it's gorgeous. Look at that. I love that, you know, these colors, man. Every month I'm like, oh, this month is my favorite. No, next month's my favorite. No, this month's my favorite. And yeah, I'm super excited. If you don't know, I am planning on doing the Box of Socks cowl again next year. That is the only year-long cowl that I'm going to be really active in. I mean, I have been in Amber of the Yarn Hoarders podcast cowl, her, you know, Free the Elves, the House Elves cowl, and I'm in the Grocery Girls year-long sock cowl as well, and there might be another one or two there, but those are just whatever socks you knit are entered into the cowl. Box of Socks is specific for me because I've picked out yarn to use, and then Desert Vista Dye Works, of course, is specific because it needs to be Desert Vista Dye Works yarn. So Box of Socks is the only specifically picked out yarn cowl that I'm going to do next year, and what I am going to do is I'm going to do it out of all of my Vesper sock skeins. Well, not all of them, but out of 12 of them. I think by the end of the year I'll have like 15 skeins, and some of them I've had for quite a long time, and so I'm excited to use those as my entries for the Box of Socks cowl for next year. So this one will probably be for next September or October. I think it'll be perfect. It's an autumn colorway. And then I was at my local yarn shop, which is Colorful Yarns in Centennial, on Tuesday for Knit Night, as I am prone to do. And she had the newest color of the month. Now, until the end of the year, she's doing a kind of a collaboration with Chasing Rabbits yarn, Chasing Rabbits Fiber Company, where they're having a color of the month. Now in August they had the color for the yarn crawl, which I showed you last week, which was gray with a stripe of, like a band of rainbow, and then in September it was navy with a band of blue and green and purple. This month for October, it's this one, which is purple with orange and black, and I'm super excited about it. Now y'all know I'm not a huge fan of black, in fact I'm kind of anti-black, but this one, this specific skein has this big pop of orange, bright orange, so I'm hoping that that will kind of offset some of the black for me. I do think that if I can get through my KAL socks this month, I think I would like to cast this on and get it knit up. I don't know that I'll have it done before Halloween, or very much before Halloween, but I would like to be able to knit this quickly because I think it's gorgeous. I love this purple and I love this orange. And then I was on Instagram posting the picture of Tatum wearing her new flax sweater, and I had mentioned that she said it was itchy. And so Sheila of Bigfoot Fibers so very kindly offered to send me some of her favorite wool wash, which is a unicorn fiber wash. She sent me a little one of the fiber wash and then one of the fiber rinse, which is kind of a conditioner, and encouraged me to soak the sweater in that. And I used the fiber rinse, soaked the sweater, laid it out to dry. Tatum has worn it 2 days already. It's perfect. She says it doesn't itch anymore, and so yeah, I'm sold. I'm going to have to purchase some unicorn fiber wash for sure. It was amazing how soft it really made it. Like, you could feel the difference after it was washed. Yeah, and I will say that the Malabrigo Oceana, it bled a lot in the water. The water looked like I could have died another skein in it. But that's okay. And then she also sent me this gorgeous kind of salmon-y mini, which is, I'm assuming, her yarn. It is a 75-25 merino blend, and I will be using this for heels and toes in a pair of socks, I am sure. Probably for my mom, because this looks like it would match some of the skeins that she picked out for socks for herself. So thank you so much, Sheila. I know I thanked you online, but I thank you again for your generous gift, and for saving the sweater. I now know that I can knit for my daughter and have her wear it. I was rather discouraged when she was like, "No, Mom, it's itchy," because I knew that she would end up wearing it over long sleeve shirts and it would be okay, but she would never really love it. And now I think that she will actually love it. So thank you. And then lastly, I got a little Notions bag, and you guys have probably seen these all over YouTube. It seems like all the podcasters are getting random fandom Notion tea bags, and I completely jumped on that bandwagon, and I have no shame because they're adorable and everybody needs to have at least one. Look at these. So they're little Notions bags, and they've got a clear window here, and they're set to look like a tea bag. So you've got a little tab here, and you just fit, your Notions right in there, and it's adorable. And this one is very Thanksgiving/autumny themed. I love that it's got turkeys on it, and it's just super stinking cute. And I couldn't pass it up. I want to have like 25 of these for reals. For reals, yo, to put in all of my project bags. She also sent me, Jamie also sent me a little progress keeper, and it's a little scarecrow, which I love. So I have been waiting, because I've had this for nearly a week, and I've been waiting with it all wrapped up for me to be able to show it on the podcast, and now I have. Now I can use them. So I'm going to be using them right away. I'm super, super in love. I definitely need to get some more of these. And that's it. That's all I got this week. Not too bad, huh? A little bit better than last week. Okay, so that is the end of the knitting stuff. The rest of the podcast is just basically going to be me talking about books or about life. So if you're just here for the knitting, then thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you next week. So in regards to books, I am still reading Jane Unlimited by Kristen Kishore. However, you may notice that this is not, it's not the book, it's just the dust jacket, but this is not the library dust jacket. This is my very own dust jacket. I got a little bit over halfway through the book and decided that I liked it enough that I really wanted to have a copy of it, so I purchased one. And it came just in time, because I really need to return the library book. There's some people in line waiting for it, so I can't renew it, and I wasn't sure if I was going to finish it in time. I've been sleepy lately, and so my reading at night has been limited to like 30 pages. And the book is like 480 pages or something like that. So it's just taking me a while to get through. After I finish that, I will be picking up Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. She made a big splash 2 years ago, I believe, with the book We Were Liars, which blew a lot of people's minds. I was not a huge fan of it. It was okay. But I was interested in trying out some more of her work. So this is her most recent release. And it's a pretty short book, just about 250 pages. And so I figured I might as well get it from the library and check it out. She likes to write books that have like twists and turns. And so I'm not reading the synopsis. So I don't actually know what this is about. I want to go in blind, but I am hoping that it'll be enjoyable. We'll see. And then the girls and I just last night finished the last of the Land of the Stories book. The last one was called Worlds Collide, and that's by Chris Colfer, who played Kurt in Glee. There's a picture of him right there. And this is the second book in this. No, this is the third book in the series, and we have all of them except for the most recent one because we buy them on paperback, so I need the paperback to come out. But we really enjoyed the series, and Tatum was like, "Mom, that was such a good series" when it was over. So it's a really good one for middle grade kids. The books are fairly big, so they might be daunting. But they're written at a middle grade level, and so yeah, if you have a fourth grader to a junior higher, then they might really enjoy that series. They're fun. They're fun to knit. I'm glad that we read them together. And since we finished that, we're going to go on and finish another series. I'm going to the library today to pick up the book, but we have been reading together the Jacoby series by William Ritter, which is another upper middle grade / YA series that is kind of like if Sherlock Holmes could see magic and fairies. Like if that was real and Sherlock Holmes was a detective in that world, you would have Jacoby. R.F. Jacoby is the main character in this series, and he is very much like Sherlock Holmes. But he can see magical creatures, and he's the only one who can. And so he and his assistant Abigail Rook, are kind of solving mysteries of some sort in the 1800s in New Fiddleham, New England, in 1882. It's 1892, and they're clever, enjoyable books. We have been listening to them on audio for a while now. So the first book was Jacoby. The second book was Beastly Bones, and the third book was Ghostly Echoes. And we just finished reading Ghostly Echoes just a few months ago, and the fourth and final book of the series is called The Dire King, and it has just come out. I think it came out in September or August. And so again, we have the paperbacks, so we will wait for that book to come out in paperback before we buy it, but we are borrowing it from the library and listening to it on audio. So we will start that tonight, and I'm excited about that because it's been a good series. It's one that adults can get a kick out of as well. In fact, Ron has been reading the series with us. Every time a new book comes out and we get it, he reads it, and then the girls and I listen to it on audio. He reads the book, the physical book. And then for what I'm listening to in audio, I am about 40% of the way through The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. I don't have a physical copy of the book. I have been on the wait list for the book from the library for a month, and And it's a book that I am reading for a book club that meets once a month for brunch, and our brunch date is coming up. And I don't think that the physical book will be in, I will be up on the list high enough to be able to get it in time to read it. I'm not even sure I'll get it in time to even have it in my physical possession before the brunch happens. So I decided to go ahead and just purchase the audiobook from Audible. I don't like to listen to audiobooks without having the physical book, in my possession, because I like to follow along with my page count. Also, if there's any kind of extra mixed media in there, I like to be able to see that. But beggars can't be choosers, I guess, and I really don't want to go and buy the physical book for $26 because I wasn't sure how I was going to like it, and adult books or adult hardback books are really expensive. So anyway, I've been listening to it. As I said, I'm about 40% of the way through, and I'm really been impressed. This is the first Karen Slaughter book I've read, although I do have an ARC, which is an advanced reader copy of Pretty Girls, which I think is the book that she put out before this one. And I'm actually more keen to read that one now that I've about 40% through this one. It's got a lot has happened. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of action, a lot of suspense and on your toes, and so I'm really pretty impressed. I think I'm going to enjoy this. So far, it's turning out to be a 4-star book, but I'm not quite halfway, and there's plenty of time for it to disappoint me, I guess. But we'll see. I am enjoying it, and the narrator is doing a very good job with it. Makes a big difference when you have a really good narrator. It really does. And that's basically what I am reading. I want to kind of get into some life stuff. I want to thank everybody who made nice comments and support and helpful suggestions about my hearing aids last week. That meant a lot to me. I wasn't sure if I was going to even tell people. I've never been one to hide my hearing problems because I don't think it's something that I should be ashamed of. It's a disability. It's not. It's nothing that I need to hide. And I watched my mom and my aunt hide it a lot when they were younger. Neither of them do now, but it's still not something that they would advertise. But I'm glad that I did say something. I guess the reason why I didn't think why I thought that I might not say something is because it doesn't really affect you guys. You can't see them. I'm not hearing you, so it really doesn't affect people who watch the podcast. But I do like to be kind of as transparent as possible, and so it's something that is affecting my life, and so I thought I would share. I will say that I have gotten a different set now. They're having me demo these pairs, which is amazing because you get to really try them out. I don't know if you guys know, but hearing aids are expensive, and my insurance doesn't cover them completely, which is kind of a frustration because it's not like pure cosmetic surgery. It's a necessity. With somebody who has hearing disabilities, they need hearing aids, just like if someone has vision problems, they need glasses. And if someone is an amputee, they're going to need a wheelchair. It just seems like those are the kinds of things that insurances should just cover at 100%, But my insurance only covers a couple of $1,000s, so I am going to be paying some out of pocket. So it is nice to know that that I am able to try out and find the ones that are really going to work for me. So the ones that I had last week when I talked to you, I do not have anymore. These ones are a different brand, and I like them a lot better. They also hook up to my phone. I have to wear, I have an Android phone. I have the Samsung Note 5, and I have to wear a device, like a transmitter, as a necklace. And when I do, it transmits both phone calls and any kind of audio things, like if I'm listening to an audiobook, or if I'm listening to music, or if I'm watching, YouTube on my phone, it transmits it straight into the earpieces of my hearing aids, which is amazing, because then I don't have to, I don't have to deal with wearing big headphones. I used to wear a wireless Bluetooth earbud headset, and I would go to the grocery store and I would wear this while I was doing my grocery shopping. Well, with hearing aids, you can't wear earbuds because you've already got the hearing aids in your ears. So I was kind of lamenting the fact that I have to wear, like the big over-the-head headphones. I don't really like those. Plus, sometimes they make the hearing aids squeal, and it's just not as comfortable. But these ones, as I said, as long as I wear that transmitter around my neck, I can just transmit it straight. I have also learned that if I get an iPhone, I don't need to wear the transmitter around my neck. So Ron and I are up for renewing our phones. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. We still haven't done it. We just haven't gone and done it. But I'm kind of glad that we hadn't, because I'm now thinking about getting the new iPhone 8, because not only will I not have to wear that transmitter around my neck, but I will, I have more, hearing aids have a lot more, there's a lot more things that you can do with them with an iPhone. Apple has really kind of connected very well with hearing aid companies, and so there's lots of things that I can do, changing the volume with the phone instead of having to fiddle with the back of the hearing aid, being able to change the direction in which I'm hearing. Like if I'm in a car and I've got passengers behind me and I need to be able to hear them better, I can change the direction so the hearing aids are focusing on the noise behind me, or the noise to the right of me, or the noise to the left of me, or the noise in front of me if I'm like at a meeting or something like that. And there's other things that I can do depending on the setting I'm in, to change kind of the way that I'm hearing. And so I like that a lot, and that is really only available through the iPhone. And I have to be honest, I've never had an iPhone. I've never had an Apple product. I really haven't. I never had iPods when they were popular. I've never used a Mac computer. I don't have an iPad. I have a Samsung tablet. and I've had Samsung phones for years. Going all the way back to the S4, and before that I had an LG phone, but I've always had Android phones. And I've always said that I was anti-Apple, because I feel like, it's a cult. Once you buy one Apple product, you're going to buy all the Apple products. But I have to admit that that they're better geared for hearing aids, and I want to get the most out of my hearing aids, and I don't want to have to do with some of the things that my mom had to do when I was growing up, where she was frustrated with her hearing aids because they never did what they were supposed to do, and she still missed out on so much of the conversations and that kind of thing. I don't want to be in that position, so I'm going to make, I guess, the sacrifice of getting an iPhone, and so that I can get the most out of my hearing aids. So yeah, that is the plan now. But I am really liking these, even with the Android, even with having to wear the transmitter. They're still they sound a lot better. It sounds a lot more natural, not as tinny. And that may be also that I'm getting used to them. My voice is still loud and doesn't sound exactly normal, but it is getting better, and I am really liking all the things that I can hear. It's really nice to drive in the car with my kids and not have to have Delaney repeat herself 25 times because she talks too quietly for me to understand. It's really nice. It really is really nice. So yeah, there you go. All right. I think that is it for me today, guys. I am going to go and edit this and get it uploaded, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Happy knitting. I'll talk to you later. Bye.